Tomorrow is a WRAL weather alert day. I'm timing out how long showers will stick with us and how low temperatures will go.
20 students involved in a bus crash, 10 of them taken to the hospital with injuries, what State Highway Patrol says caused the crash.
And one of the most heavily debated new laws goes into effect today. Why some politicians say it could have saved the life of this woman killed on a Charlotte light rail. And we are going to get to that school bus crash in Durham in just a moment, but we have to start with tomorrow's forecast. We've got a WRAL weather alert in effect tomorrow morning, and we are expecting the rain to start overnight and then start coming down pretty hard during the morning commute. And Kat, that system could last a while. It's not expected to dry up until tomorrow evening.
Yes, at least the evening commute looks a lot better than the morning commute will, but you may want to leave some extra time tomorrow morning as you head to your destination or head into work. In the morning, it'll be widespread and pretty much everywhere. We won't see the rain taper off until the afternoon. That'll affect the commute, and we are looking at some beneficial rainfall totals from this system. We could see an inch. So here it comes. The clouds are already here, but the rain is going to move in next from the southwest. It is a chilly rain for us, but it is all rain that's moving in overnight. The pink that you see here in the mountains, that's where there could be some icing overnight. In the mountains, there is a winter weather advisory. For us, it's all green, and when it switches to the yellow and orange, that's just heavier rain. So it's widespread rain by 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. 8 a.m. for the main commute window. We are looking at widespread rain still. Even through lunchtime, the rain is likely to continue, but we do see some improvement later in the afternoon and into the evening hours. Coming up, I'll have a closer look at just how cold this rain will be town by town as it rolls through.
All right, Kat, we are staying on top of breaking news in Durham. You may have seen these images from Sky 5. 10 students were taken to the hospital after a school bus flipped over. We sent Sky 5 there over the scene on Johnson Mill Road. Durham Public School officials tell us the bus was coming from Mangum Elementary. WRAL's Willie Danley joins us now live at Duke University Hospital. That's where we believe a handful of the children were taken. Willie, earlier tonight, you were at the scene of the crash. A pretty scary day for these kids and their families.
It was indeed, Ashley. As you can imagine, this was terrifying for the students, but not just them, also their parents who rushed to the scene to be by their side. Take a look at this video. This is what Sky 5 saw as they flew above that scene on Johnson Mill Road in Durham County. 20 students were on board. 10 of them were reunited with their families at the scene, and the other 10 students were taken to the hospital along with that bus driver. The bus was traveling south on Johnson Mill Road. It was going around a curve when it ran off the road. The driver then overcorrected and the bus overturned, striking a tree. I spoke to parents who arrived at the scene, and they tell me when they got that notification from the school, their hearts dropped. After what happened this afternoon, they say they aren't sure when they'll be comfortable putting their kids back on a school bus.
I was pretty frantic, especially once you see the bus, the way it was sitting. Yeah, it'll freak you out. I'm going to wait a couple weeks before I let her get back on it, just so she can heal from the traumatic process of what just happened.
This evening, we are also hearing from the superintendent of Durham Public Schools, who says he's relieved that the students were taken to the hospital and treated for their minor injuries.
You can't blame the parents for being a little freaked out by all of this, Willie. Is the bus driver going to face any consequences?
Yes, State Highway Patrol have confirmed with us that that bus driver is going to receive a citation for failure to maintain lane control.
All right, Willie, thank you. You know, there are so many layers to this story. We've got the video of the children being led away from the turned over bus, the parents reuniting with their children, and of course the children who had to go to the hospital. But did you notice an important detail in the Sky 5 video that we've been showing you all afternoon and evening? Do you see that right in the middle on top of the roof of the flipped over school bus? It's an opened escape hatch. With the bus on its side, it gave the children a way to escape, and thank goodness it was there. And you probably know those escape hatches are on all the school buses. Maybe you remember seeing them when you rode the bus when you were in school. Those emergency exits are required by federal law. Congress passed a whole bunch of school bus safety laws in the 1970s. In 1973, it was required emergency exits. In 1977, it was rollover protection. Yes, school buses are required to have reinforced roofs capable of withstanding tens of thousands of pounds of force without caving in. And that's likely what protected so many of those children today. In 2023, 6,400 people were injured on school buses nationwide. We're talking about students and drivers. Compare that to nearly 2.5 million people injured in regular car crashes. I mean, a huge difference. The special rules, the designs, and the technology made for school buses make them one of the safest forms of transportation. Brian?
Ashley, all new in the WRAL Live Center, we're getting video of a Smithfield fire truck involved in a crash earlier this afternoon. Take a look at this video from the WRAL Breaking News Tracker. Smithfield police say this happened at Market and 7th Streets right around 3:30 this afternoon. That fire truck had its lights and sirens on, responding to a call when the crash happened. Apparently, the truck overturned in this crash. We know that 5 people were injured, including 4 firefighters who were on that fire truck. Thankfully, only minor injuries. They look like they're going to be okay. Right now, state troopers are investigating exactly what happened.
If we can prevent one of these things from happening, then we are doing our job. That is your quote of the day, coming from State Senator Bobby Hanig. He's talking about Arena's Law. The bill passed earlier this year after Irina Zarutska was stabbed to death on a train in Charlotte. It makes it harder for people to get out of jail for low-level crimes, and it attempts to restart the death penalty executions in North Carolina, something that we haven't seen since 2006. Arena's Law officially took effect today. Some lawmakers say this law will prevent future deaths. Other lawmakers aren't so sure. WRAL's Heidi Kirk has the story.
This woman's name is Irina Zarutska. Lawmakers who pushed for her law say that if it would have been in place before her death, it may not have happened. Memorials for Irina Zarutska, a stark reminder of a deadly attack on a Charlotte light rail train. The man accused of her death had been released from jail without paying bail after an arrest in another case. Now Irina's law is meant to make sure that can't happen.
If we can prevent one of these things from happening, then we're doing our job.
State Senator Bobby Hanig calls the law a step in the right direction. It requires stricter scrutiny of judges when considering pretrial release, bans one type of cashless bail, and makes it easier for people who have a history of mental health issues to be involuntarily committed after an arrest. The bill also puts the death penalty in the spotlight, requiring Governor Josh Stein's top prison officials to recommend new ways of executing people, such as firing squads. Democratic lawmakers are opposed.
I don't think that that's in North Carolina's best interest. It certainly is not how we feel things should be done as it relates to a progressive agenda.
Governor Stein is opposed to that piece of the law, saying as long as he remains governor, no one will be executed by a firing squad. Democratic lawmakers have also criticized the law for not having any sort of mental health funding attached to it. Heidi Kirk, WRAL News in Raleigh.
We have talked a lot about the history of the death penalty in North Carolina and why an execution hasn't happened since 2006. You can find the story of how we got here over on the WRAL YouTube page. All right, let's get you caught up on some of the other big headlines in the news today. Here are 5 things you should know right now. We now know a 12-year-old shot in Clayton was enrolled at Harnett County School. Police responded to the scene on Commodore Street last Friday evening. Today, the suspect turned himself in. Police tell us Tyron Washington surrendered. He's being held without bond and is due in court tomorrow afternoon. 3 people are in custody after a stolen car chase in Wake County. Sky 5 flew over the investigation near Battle Bridge and Rock Quarry Roads. Deputies say they tried to stop a car that matched the description of one that was stolen. Deputies chased the car until the driver got out and 2 others as well. They ran away. Canines and several law enforcement agencies helped capture them. Starting today, tens of thousands of Cigna members will need to find a new health care provider or pay out-of-network prices. The contract between Cigna and UNC Health has expired after months of negotiations. UNC Health has warned 65,000 patients who are covered by Cigna. Both companies say they are still negotiating. North Carolina Congressman Don Davis is filing for re-election. He was one of dozens of people at the first day of candidate filing today. You'll remember Davis was drawn out of his district by Republicans hoping to add another GOP seat in the House. Davis has to move his home so that he can run for his seat again. We have a more in-depth look at this process on WRAL.com. The TSA has a new way for travelers trying to fly without a real ID, but it's going to cost you. A $45 fee will get you a TSA Confirm ID. That's what it's called. And it's valid for 10 days. But you have to pay the fee again after that. Lots of people still need to get their real ID. The DMV says about 43% of North Carolina drivers still don't have it. All right, a chaotic tiebreaker, a Legends losing season, and a trip to Brazil, not to mention a possible doomsday scenario with Duke. There's some juicy storylines coming out of our area's college football teams. After the break, I take a trip to Murph's Turf. Kat?
And we've got rain moving in tonight. It'll be a cold rain for us, but parts of the mountains are under a winter weather advisory. We'll have a closer look at that and just how low temperatures will go coming up.
And let's quickly look ahead at some of the news stories we're keeping an eye on for you this week. Tomorrow, peace deal talks between Ukraine and Russia will continue. President Trump's special envoy, Steve Witkoff, will meet with Russian President Vladimir Putin. The president says there's a good chance for a deal. Wednesday is the WRAL tower lighting. We're going to be lighting the Lucky Strike Tower at the American Tobacco Campus in Durham, the tower at Rocky Mount Mills, and the TV tower here on Western Boulevard. The fun starts at 7 o'clock. And on Friday, it's the first big step for next year's World Cup hosted in North America. Countries will be separated into their official groups, and we'll see who must face off to get the knockout stage. World Cup games will air this summer on Fox 50. We'll be right back. If you've been following it closely, college football in the Triangle has been a bit of a mixed bag this year, right? UNC didn't play well, but the hype Belichick brought to the program is a big deal. NC State's still struggling to get to the top of the ACC, but they are bowl eligible. And Duke, a middling record, but a spot in the ACC title game. So, where do these programs go from here? I asked WRAL investigative sports reporter Brian Murphy and took a trip to Murph's Turf. Murph, we've got to talk about everything that has happened over the weekend with college football in our area. Let's start with Duke and what we are looking forward to next weekend. They're fighting for an ACC title here?
Yeah, somehow Duke is in the ACC championship game. As unlikely as that sounds, it's true. Duke needed some help over the weekend. They needed to beat Wake Forest. They did. They needed Miami to beat Pittsburgh. That happened. And then they needed SMU to lose to Cal. Cal had fired its coach the week before, and yet somehow Cal found a way to beat SMU, sending Duke to the championship game.
Is Duke a great team, or did they get lucky with the other team's failures?
Well, it was a very complicated tiebreaker. They were tied for second with 5 other teams. But when the ACC put it into their tie-breaking formula, Duke got in based on the winning percentage of their ACC opponents. A very strange metric, especially since Miami was one of those other teams they were tied with, and Miami is one of the top 10 teams in the country.
Let's talk about UNC and Bill Belichick. We weren't expecting them necessarily to beat NC State, but boy, Bill Belichick not going out of the season feeling very good.
Yeah, UNC lost to NC State in a way that most people expected, 42-19. NC State scored on their first 4 drives. Carolina was never really in the game after that. And thus ends a miserable first season for Bill Belichick in Chapel Hill. 4-8. And everyone's looking ahead, right? What can they do in the offseason so that next season doesn't end up even worse? Their schedule is much tougher. They might be bringing in 40 freshmen. What are they going to do at quarterback? What are they going to do at offensive coordinator? After the game, Bill Belichick said, we have a lot of work to do, and he's 100% correct.
We've always known Bill Belichick is not exactly verbose when he goes in front of reporters. He did that during his time with the pros, and he was really short after that game.
Yeah, after losses this season, Bill Belichick has been very short with the media, especially on the road where we're in a cramped little media room at NC State. He lasted about 4 minutes, a lot of I don't knows, or we'll talk about that later.
How many questions were given to him?
Over 10 to 15 questions.
And it was
asked.
A 4-minute press conference?
And it was 4 minutes. A lot of short answers.
I mean, look, the season's just ended like a few minutes ago, okay? And so now we're going to move into the off season. That's what we're going to do.
There was so much buzz at the start of the season for him and a lot of money being poured into this program. Do you see the same kind of buzz and money next season?
Well, I think there'll be money being poured in, but the question is, North Carolina got a big return on investment when Belichick first got hired. They sold a lot of tickets, sponsorships, donations. ESPN got very interested. How much of that buzz is back for year 2? it's a real question. Like, is season tickets just going to drop off? Are donations going to dry up? It makes next season, I think, the most important season for Carolina football in a long time.
NC State, Dave Doran is back for another season next year, and he's going to be starting the season overseas.
Yeah, NC State will open the 2026 season in Brazil, the first FBS football game to be played in that country. But Dave Doran's back, and one of the big reasons he's back is because he continues to beat North Carolina. 5 straight wins against the Tar Heels, punctuated by this game on Saturday night that was a beatdown. And Dave Doran just loves to beat Carolina. He loves it even more when Bill Belichick's on the other side. He said that he has an extra pep in his step. Looking forward to playing Bill Belichick. And I think, another 7-5 season, I think NC State needs to build to something. They really want to break that 10-win mark. They really want to get to the ACC championship game. And for all the culture and for all the good times they've had at NC State, I think Dave Doran is going to face a little pressure next year to elevate the program a little bit.
In the meantime, they are bowl eligible.
They are bowl eligible, and they'll go to a bowl likely in Florida in December, and then they'll get ready building in the offseason too. They really want to keep quarterback C.J. Bailey.
Okay. Hey, I want to touch base with you again later on this week, because if Duke wins the ACC, they still might not get to the college football playoffs.
A doomsday scenario setting up for the ACC if Duke were to win this game.
Going to follow up with you. Thanks, Murph.
Thank you.
Oh, yes. So much going on. Also, so much going on in the Severe Weather Center because we've got a weather alert day tomorrow.
Yes, we've got rain coming. It'll be widespread. Everybody's going to wake up to rain tomorrow morning for the commute. And you know how it goes. When it's raining during the main morning commute pretty much everywhere, it's probably going to be a little slow to get to work or school for the kids. Make sure you leave a little bit of extra time. It's also just going to be a cold, rainy day. It may be tough to get moving in the morning. At the bus stop, 41 degrees. That's in Raleigh. Some folks are going to wake up to temperatures in the 30s, upper 30s, though, with the rain coming down tomorrow morning. The rain gear will be needed. A 100% chance for rain at the bus stop in the morning, a 30% chance by the afternoon. The rain does begin to taper off by the time the kids head home from school. But here comes our next system. It's moving in from the south and west. There is a winter weather advisory with this in the North Carolina mountains. They're looking at perhaps some icing. They could see up to 1/4 of an inch of freezing rain and icing in some spots. And this is for the areas highlighted here in purple that are under the advisory. It does include Asheville as well as Boone. However, this is still mainly going to be the higher elevations of our mountains. And as we look to the west, you can really see a lot of the Midwest under the winter weather advisory as well, where they are seeing much more significant snowfall. For us, the zone of icing is pretty small here on the map in the mountains. Even then, there's only some small areas at the highest elevations there in pink that could see that glaze up to 1/4 of an inch. So I wouldn't expect any widespread travel issues in the mountains. For us, we could see up to 1 inch of rain here locally. It should be a pretty healthy dose. 6 a.m. tomorrow morning, 37 degrees and raining in Durham, 40 in Raleigh, 35 in Roxborough as the rain falls. By 8 a.m., 41 in Raleigh, 46 in Goldsboro, 39 in South Hill. And the reds and the yellows that you see here, those are pockets of heavier rain. So we will likely see some of those pockets around during the first half of the day. Check in with meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. She'll keep you up to date with which areas are seeing the heaviest rain before you head out the door tomorrow. After lunchtime, the rain does gradually lighten up for us through the afternoon. And there could still be some patchy drizzle after that, some sprinkles left over into the evening. It stays cold, though. High temperatures are only in the 40s and 50s for the next week. As warm as we get is 55 degrees on Thursday. We got some chilly nights in the forecast, 37 tomorrow morning, 29 Wednesday morning, and 32 on Thursday morning. A live look over Raleigh, 39 degrees out there right now. Cloudy skies are already here, and because the clouds are here, we're not going to see temperatures fall too much from there tonight. It helps to lock in some of the milder temps. 48 degrees for the high tomorrow. A WRAL weather alert day due to the rain impacting the morning commute, but it is all rain, just a cold rain. Wednesday looks good for the WRAL tower lightings. We'll keep an eye on Friday. Friday's rain could be even colder, and we'll need to keep a close eye on what time that begins to make sure there aren't any mixing issues.
All right, Kat. Stay with us. You're generous. One last thing after the break. One last thing. The last few days all seem to have their own special names, right? We've got Thursday, Thanksgiving, Friday, Black Friday, today, Cyber Monday. And Americans spent a lot of money in that time. $14 billion in sales expected today. $11.8 billion in sales expected to be spent on Black Friday. But there's another named day we should talk about, and it's tomorrow. It's called Giving Tuesday, a time to give back to the community, people we may have never met after spending so much on our friends, on our families, and on ourselves. Donations reached $3.6 billion on Giving Tuesday last year. It's an increase from 2023 and 2022, but if you think about it, it's still well behind those spending numbers that you just saw for Black Friday and Cyber Monday. And there are a lot of great ways to give back in our area. One of the biggest events on Giving Tuesday is in Raleigh. It's called the Big Give. It's tomorrow at Art Space on East Davie Street. A bunch of local nonprofits sign up for this, and you can pick which one you want to support. WRAL has a way you can give back too. For over 35 years, you have helped Coats for the Children keep local families warm each winter. Now through December 31st, we need your help to gather as many coats, hats, and gloves as possible. To find a neighborhood Jiffy Lube drop-off location near you, or if you want to make a monetary donation, scan the code on your screen or just visit WRAL.com/coats. Help WRAL and the Salvation Army spread warmth and hope this holiday season. Thanks for making WRAL your choice for local news. Our next newscast is at 10 on Fox 50 and 11 on WRAL. Have a great night.
Keep watching WRAL News over the air channel 34 and Spectrum channel 1257.